Hello, greetings from Mother Earth News. I'm Rebecca.
Bienvenidos. Me llamo Shane.
And Shane, mi amigo Curtido. And what? Sorry, we were looking at the wrong camera.
Oh, geez. Hey, over there.
We're a little punch drunk because there's a lot of jalapeno vapors in the air today.
And because Rebecca's been punching me.
That's true. I've been elbowing him a lot lately. But we are today going to show you how to make what experts say is the El Salvadoran national dish. It's curtido, which is
Y pupusas.
Pupusas, which is the carrier, the delivery mechanism for the curtido. Curtido is, it's a fermented kraut, and it's spicy. So those of you who have always wanted to make sauerkraut but haven't done it before, we're going to show you how to make a spicy kraut. So you could probably just leave out the peppers if you wanted to and just make your own non-spicy kraut, non-El Salvadoran national kraut.
German kraut.
German, just plain old German kraut. Okay, so I want to tell you before we get started that this recipe is taken from The Pickled Pantry, which is a book by Andrea Chessman. Andrea is one of the magazine's cooking authors, and Andrea's going to be at our fair in Topeka, this is our home, this weekend. And she's going to be making curtido!
This weekend?
This weekend, this dish.
I bet her curtido is better than ours because I bet she's made it before.
I bet, yeah, speak for yourself. So, what you do first is you take, I'll just go over the ingredients quickly, and what Shane's doing is grating 2 carrots, and I am cutting up a cabbage. Let's say small to medium-sized cabbage head. You want to shred it pretty finely with slaw. And what I did was just cut the core out of the center, and then I'm just going to shred this as finely as I can with a knife, because it's going to be served on basically little breads, so we don't want really big shreds if we can avoid it. And in addition to this, there's 1 onion in this recipe, 2 fresh jalapeno peppers.
Shown here.
Yeah, you can go ahead and dump that in there. We've kind of pre-shredded here. Let me help you.
They don't trust me with knives, so Rebecca's got the knife here, and
He had a dull one before we started. Okay, so
they give me butter knives, but that's it.
this is like actually cooking at home where I cannot finish a sentence without getting interrupted. Man, what was I saying, Shane? I was talking about the ingredients here.
You're talking about the ingredients. We've got some sliced cabbage here, shredded, and we've got our jalapenos. We've got 2 carrots. What else do we have, Rebecca? I see some sea salt here.
Yes, did you say onion already? 1 onion?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, well,
I'm a supporting character.
why don't you dump your carrots in there,
Gladly.
please? 1 head of cabbage, 2 carrots, 1 onion, 2 jalapenos, or you can leave out the jalapenos if you want. I'm going to set this aside for now, I think, because we're basically ready.
I was expressly told to not let you forget the oregano before we begin.
Don't let me forget the oregano. What you're going to do is sprinkle some salt on this, and you're going to let it sit. We have already kind of pre-sprinkled this, so it's been sitting for a while. Let it sit, and the salt helps release the juices in here. Toss it really well, so you can see all the ingredients there, except the onion doesn't really stand out. This is going to produce a very pretty slaw. Now, here's the fun part about slaw, is you get to work out your aggressions. So that salt, hit it good.
Hit this slaw.
That salt has been releasing, or helping to, I guess, relax the slaw a little bit and the ingredients here, so they're going to start releasing some water. And that's really important because this is a fermented kraut, which I guess most krauts are. It's going to sit out on the counter for about 2 to 3 days. Shane, do you want to give a go at this? Because you have strong fists, I know, because you were throwing me around earlier.
I'm the one backed into a corner and being beaten here, but yeah, gladly.
Okay. Go ahead. You just smash that down. You've made kraut before, right?
Just smash it. No, but I eat lots of kraut, so
Okay.
you know, it's pretty much the same thing, I think.
Yep. Except this has jalapeno peppers in it. We had a little accident before the camera went live. Shane got a jalapeno seed in his eye.
I did not swear.
There was a lot of screaming and obscenities.
And I didn't cry.
He did not cry. Truly did not cry. So what you want, I'll see, can I have that for a little bit? And we're going to have
just gave it to me.
Yeah, I'm going to give it back to you, but look at the liquid starting to collect in there. You can see that at the bottom of the bowl. That's what we want, so keep going. What we want is when we put it in our fermentation jar, we want the liquid to go above the ingredients.
What kind of fermentation jar are we using?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
Can you use a regular jar?
You can use a regular jar because I made this weekend. Here's some Curtido, pre-made. Ooh, it's been fermenting 24 hours in just a regular glass jar. You want a non-reactive. Jar. But coincidentally, we have these wonderful fermentation crocks that we sell in our store, MotherEarthNews.com/store. Mortier Pilon. And someone will, I'm sure, include the link for you.
And correct your French.
And correct your French. How's that coming?
It's so juicy.
You're going to break the table. Is it really juicy? It's pretty good. I would work a little bit on the edges to get some of that stuff.
I've been turning it in.
It's fun. It's always fun to correct somebody you don't live with when you're making food. Okay, that's looking really great, Shane.
Thank you.
And again, it's Rebecca and Shane from Mother Earth News, and we are here making Curtido. Curtido is a fermented sauerkraut. It's considered the El Salvadoran national dish. We're making the slaw first, sauerkraut first, and then we're going to make pupusas, which is like a little stuffed pancake or gordita. That in El Salvador they serve the Curtido on pupusas. And that's looking pretty good, Shane. I think
it's good. I just thought of somebody that owes me some money. And I just really put the squeeze on it.
It's kind of nice to do that. Okay, I think we're basically done, but I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano in there. Okay.
Don't forget the oregano. We didn't have any Salvadorian oregano?
No, I'm following the recipe from Andrea Chessman. This is her book, The Pickled Pantry, which we sell in our store. Andrea is going to be at our fair this weekend in Topeka, Kansas. And we have a hands-on stage, and she's going to be teaching people how to get their hands dirty with slaw. That looks pretty good. So why don't you start loading it into our fermentation jar. This is going to be a little sloppy, isn't it?
No. I'm a very tidy chef.
Again, what we have in this is Curtido, the El Salvador national dish. And what we have in here is 1 head of cabbage, 1 onion, 2 carrots, 2 jalapeno peppers. Actually, we probably have 4.
There's a lot of jalapeno peppers.
And some salt. And then we let the we worked the ingredients for a little bit, and then added about 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano to the mix.
We didn't work it. We painstakingly squeezed every little bit of liquid content from it.
It's very flavorful. It smells really good. Now look, and can you see that as I push my fist down in the jar, water squeezes out. Can we see that? How that's working already? We're going to put all of that
watch
in here.
This is the remnants here. That's how much we're able to squeeze out of that.
And that's due to the salt just working on the veg. Okay, that's pretty good. So this is basically ready then to let sit on the counter for 2 to 3 days. Oh, that's good. Look at that. I'm just giving it a little bit more of a workout in here. And what you want is to get this below the liquid. Get your veg below the liquid in the jar. And luckily we have, that looks pretty good. What do you think, Shane?
It looks fantastic. If only the jar came with some kind of, like a weight that we could set on top. We might need to fashion something like that.
This is, once again, this is a Mortier Pilon fermentation crock. And the crock comes with this handy dandy weight. Hey, look at that.
Came with it. Included in the kit.
That's going to keep your veg below the brine that has been created with the salt and the pounding. And then we have
a green pencil.
We have a grease pencil.
Oh, it's not green?
It's green. And then the great thing about these Mortier Pilon fermentation crocks, in addition to the weight, is that that's why I have you here. Mi amigo Curtido. You can write on the rim what day that you created your kraut.
I'm just going to write Monday, because I don't know the date.
Okay, what is the date? Does anybody know the date? 16th. It's the 16th.
Thank you.
That will come in handy because at the fair in Topeka this weekend, the Mother Earth News Fair, Andrea Chessman is going to be teaching people how to make curtido. And this will be at one of the hands-on stages, and this kraut that we made today will be something they'll be able to taste before they leave.
You want to be real careful to not get wax from the pencil into the curtido, though.
Why is that?
Because it happens. Don't eat this if you see it at the fair. It's got wax in it.
I should probably have found another helper, huh?
At least a better helper.
Margarita Platera said, "Sebe muy bueno."
Gracias.
Very good.
It really smells good here, what I made just yesterday. So this has just been sitting out on the counter for 1 day. Andrea's recipe, and I think most traditional recipes say 2 to 3 days at least. Taste it every day, and when it gets to the right level of tanginess, then put it in the fridge or a really cool place. Okay, so then...
So does this not fit tightly?
Yeah, that's so that it lets the air out as it's fermenting. It's a really great handy crock. Mortier Pelon, we sell it in the gift store. I think it's Canadian.
¿Y qué vamos a hacer ahora, Rebecca?
I don't know how to answer that.
What are we gonna do now?
Oh, now, what are we going to do? We are going to make pupusas, which is another traditional El Salvadoran element of this dish. Pupusas are, we kind of decided they're sort of like a cross between a pancake and a gordito. They're stuffed, so they're kind of a gordito, right?
I would call it more, it's like a southern cousin of the gordito.
Okay, so
I tapped my Salvadorian Tia for a little assistance here, and I said, "Tia, on Monday I have to make some pupusas. Can you give me any tips?" She goes, "Oh yeah, next time you're at the lake, I'll just show you how to do it. I'm getting pretty good at it."
After
and
how many
I said,
years?
No, I've got 3 days. I have to make them on a live broadcast in 3 days. And she laughed and said, "Good luck. It's taken me years." So this should turn out really well. We're terribly excited to share this with you all.
A couple questions. Tina wanted to know, did you remove the seeds from the peppers?
Yes, we seeded the peppers, so it was just the flesh of the jalapeno, diced, fine.
And then Eugenia wants to know, how much salt did you use?
Enough.
Oh, I used a pinch in this. This was 1 head of cabbage that I made this weekend, and I would say a really big pinch. I mean, I think you could do it to taste. So if you look, I just put 2 jalapeno peppers in this one this weekend, but we used about, yeah, in here. You can go ahead. Well, wait.
Well, I was going to show them the pinch.
Oh, that's a big pinch. We'll use that in here, but wait. And we put 4 jalapenos in here, so it's going to be extra spicy. Okay, let's get started. Hang on a sec. Hold it. Not now. Let's get started with the pupusas. You use masarina. Masarina. It is basically, it's corn flour. It's corn that's been slaked with lime so it can be ground really, really fine. So it's flour, it's not like meal. It's still got a little bit grittiness to it. So that's about 2 cups and about a big pinch of salt. Go ahead and throw that in there, sir. That's sea salt. Okay. Now, the recipes that you see online say 2 cups to 1.5 cups of water, but you know, warm water.
And make it como Play-Doh.
Como Play-Doh. Uh-oh, I just...
For those of you who don't habla el español, Play-Doh is Play-Doh. Since I usually, I make a lot of doughs and stuff at home, mostly pie dough, I don't always put in exactly the amount of water that a recipe calls for, because I want to see what the flour has absorbed from the air. So I think we're still a little dry. So about 1.5 cups of warm water to 2 cups of masarina. That, and you don't want to get too wet either. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I've got a 7-year-old at home, so I'd consider myself something of an expert on Play-Doh.
Go ahead. What do you say?
It's good. Yeah,
right.
It's a thick Play-Doh. It's sticky.
It's sticky, but it's not sticking to our hands necessarily. Okay, so now what we want to do here, Shane, let's put this out of the way. I think it would be good if we kind of drenched our hands, yes, in olive oil because, or not olive oil, just vegetable oil.
Is this it?
Yes, that's it. And then what we're wanting to do is,
All
oh,
right.
that's working better than it did yesterday for me.
I've never done this before at all.
I did this yesterday.
I watched a video, so basically I'm an expert.
Okay, so you want to pat this into basically a pancake, a flat circle, and as thin as you can get it. Whoops. You can tell I'm not very good at this. I'm going to start over again. You're supposed to do it with your palms, Shane. You
Thank you. I appreciate the tip.
Okay, it's pretty pliable though. So what I want to do is get it a little thin at the center, and then I kind of cup it a little bit, sort of like a soft taco shell, and we're going to use some queso fresco in the center.
That's fresh cheese.
Fresh cheese in the center. Kind of pinch the edges together so it holds, and then a lot of people prefer to take off the excess.
Oh, we're not doing beans in ours.
No, we're not doing beans, we're just doing the queso fresco.
The Salvadorian family that invited me into their kitchen on YouTube filled theirs with beans.
Oh, yes, they did, and I think carnitas. Did I see one that had carnitas in it?
Maybe.
You can put a lot of really cool fillings in here. And then we're going to griddle these. We have a griddle getting hot right next to me, and I apologize to everybody out there who's made this dish before about our technique.
And the country of El Salvador in its entirety. We're sorry.
Again, we are making pupusas, which will be the carrier for the cordito we just made. Okay, our griddle's very hot. We do not have, Shane, do you want me to put that over there? Did you get it really thinner than that, I think? Pretty thin.
I'm never thin enough.
No, you can't be thin enough. We have our griddle on pretty high heat, about 375 to 400. So again, we're just working this dough, trying to get it thin. This is masa harina, a little bit of salt and water.
Okay. Excuse
Do you want me to just throw that on for
No,
you?
don't touch it. It'll fall apart.
Do we have, is there any way to turn that in this office? I'll just improvise. Okay.
We didn't get a spatula.
We didn't.
We're brilliant.
We are doing it on the fly
Bang
here
up
at
job.
Mother Earth News. We are making pupusas, which are part of the El Salvadoran national dish. That also, what?
Look here.
We have a spatula. Thank you, Josh, our cameraman.
The Joshes
Not
have
quite
come
ready
through.
yet. What we want.
God will provide.
We don't want it to flake off like that, but hey, we're novices at pupusa making. Masa harina, some salt, some water, and then what we're doing is molding them into really flat pancakes with this looks so easy when you watch YouTube videos of it, and it is not that easy. It's surprisingly.
The dough likes to crack and fall
The
apart.
dough likes to crack. I don't know if that's quite.
We maybe should have added a
I
little
think,
more water.
man, dude, no, I think it's technique.
Of course, it was nothing Rebecca did wrong.
I had practice yesterday. Do we have any more questions, Josh? Thank you.
Teresa wanted to know how many different peppers you used.
Oh, we just use jalapeno, fresh jalapeno peppers. But, I don't know, you could probably, kraut is pretty forgiving. I mean, you can put all sorts of things in it.
Serranos.
Serranos would be great.
Some
what
ghost
makes-
pepper if you have like a relative you don't like.
Oh,
you can-
that would be.
Trick them a little bit.
That would be pretty strong. Okay, so what we want is this kind of brown spottiness on our curtidos. This one is a gordita. This one Shane made.
That one's the best one. Look at it.
That's not quite ready. So what's happening is the queso fresco that we're putting in the center of these is melting. And at some point...
Minime Adielia said, thank you for trying.
Y gracias a ti.
Any advice for us?
Oh.
What are we doing wrong?
Thank you for trying. Oh man,
Monica said, I just made some last weekend.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca
That's not me.
commented with the definition from Wikipedia.
Did we?
some subtle shade going on here.
are we gonna end up in one of those "you're doing it wrong" memes?
Possibly. Okay, at some point then, Shane, we need to, oh, I think this one's ready. Ready enough. We need to eat this. I'm not going to eat this one because this is totally dead weight in the tummy.
I'm not gonna eat that one because it's a work of art. I don't eat Picasso's either.
Nope, that's not
Even the
ready to
one where
go.
his hands were bread.
Got another one ready to go? Oh, that looks kind of like you're sculpting
Shut
jelly.
up, Rebecca, leave me alone.
This is not as easy as it looks when you watch the grandmas on YouTube do it.
It's not as easy as I make it look, believe me, folks.
Okay. Well, do you want to just throw that one on and then we'll stop and eat?
I want to go home.
We so came prepared here. I think we're just going to have to, why don't you put that on this griddle?
Why don't I?
And that is another gordita.
There's some... so mean to me.
Okay. I want you to try this then. Here, an extra big plate. There you go.
Just how I like it, because I'm an American.
American. All right. So we're going to
You
put
need international
some,
food. You gotta put it on a pretty big plate.
we're going to put some curtido, which is fermented spicy kraut, on our just freshly made pupusa, and we'll see. Shane's not going to be spicy enough for Shane.
You know, I don't have a fork, so...
This one's ready. It's got a really nice crunch to it, and then the corn is a little like to the tooth, al dente. The corn flour. I didn't really taste the cheese as much, but you know that's why you put pork in this probably. Pork and what else?
Está bien rica.
Translation.
It's good, it's rich.
Rich.
Rich is the translation, but it doesn't
Okay.
really... yeah.
It's not the same.
It's good.
So you can see the cheese kind of oozing out in the layers there. It's like cheesy cornbread. Only it's supposed to be really thin, and that's where the skill comes in, I'm sure. Also, a lot of people use white massarina, and we have yellow here, so we used yellow.
So-
I think white looks pretty, but
So this one looks like it was made by a highly skilled hand. Will you...
no, thank you.
Can we do a little analysis of what's going on here? Look, you see, mine's beautiful. Rebecca really brought me down, but she was wrong. And she's okay with admitting that. She doesn't have a problem admitting when she was wrong about my pupusa.
So, Minime says that the filling looks a little dry.
Should we put more
The
in?
masa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the masa.
Masa.
Okay. So, I hate to admit it, but Shane was right. He said add more. I don't like to admit.
Can you say that one more time?
I'm not going to say
Let
that.
me get the recorder up.
I hope my girlfriend's watching this.
Oh! That was a lot more, though. Should
It
it
was
have been
only a
that?
little.
That
was
was a lot more.
No, it was only a little. Fear not.
Derek says no shade from him. He's very hungry.
Okay.
Whoa!
So, there you go.
Getting a little loose with it here.
So just to recap, what we're doing here is making curtido, which is a El Salvadoran national dish. We got the recipe from this cookbook, The Pickled Pantry by Andrea Chessman. Andrea is going to be at the Topeka Mother Earth News Fair this very weekend, showing people at one of the hands-on stages how to make curtido. It's a fermented slaw, so it's spicy. And because it's part of the El Salvadoran mystique, the national dish, we are making pupusas out of massarina and salt and water, and then we're stuffing them with queso fresco and griddling them, and we clearly are not experts at this, but we're having fun trying.
Well, I've added a little water, and the dough is far less
Is it?
crackly.
Oh, that's good.
If you've ever made tamales before, this is a little bit thicker consistency. it's not, with the tamale you spread the dough on. Have you made tamales?
No?
You spread the dough
On a
onto the
griddle,
hoja, the corn sheet, with a spoon, and so it's far more water, twice as.
Let me try another hunk. And also, I see a lot of people too with that second, after you stuff the cheese in there, they'll remove the excess.
Permiso, amiga.
Miga curtido.
Amiga cortida.
Curtida. Ah, sí. You'll remove the excess dough so that you have, the ideal is to have a really thin pancake. So like, I'm pinching this off now around the outside, very poorly I'm sure. And then you smush it again into a very thin layer, trying to keep the cheese inside. That is where the real skill comes into play, don't you think, Shane?
Yes, if you notice, all of mine have the cheese inside.
That one right there that's oozing out on?
I didn't make that, you did that.
No, that's not mine.
Yep.
Allison wants to know, could you put a little fat in the masa? Or lard, oil?
It traditionally, no. Well, I'm using, what are you going to say?
I was going to say lard makes everything better, and as Americans,
Okay.
we really shy away from lard for some reason.
I do like lard.
We've been conditioned to not eat that, but any quality Mexican dish always has lard. Lard in the beans, lard in the masa.
But this is El Salvadoran.
Well, I have a feeling that they probably use some lard as well in El Salvador.
So tell us about your tia again, for people who joined us late.
In a nutshell, Tia Marlene said this isn't going to work. So, hola mi tía, te amo, and you were right. Tiene razón. Lo siento.
Huh? I said, what? You want to come in here? Are you a pupusas expert?
Kind of.
Come on in.
Kind of.
We have another employee here who apparently has just seen that we're messing this up, and
I don't think you guys are messing it up.
we're not doing it right though. Huh? Come on in. This is Q.
Hi, everybody. Just a
She
surprise.
provides us with all of our gadgets.
Yeah, there's enough in there that you could make another one.
Wow.
There's no cheese left. I just used the last
And
one.
there's
Okay.
plenty of cheese left.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
Oh, good. I wondered how we went through all that queso fresco.
We
Yeah,
did
that
not.
would be a lot.
We did not. Okay, tell us, Q, how you would do this.
I mean, I'm honestly not an expert, but
A ver.
I've just had a lot of them.
You've eaten a lot of them. Oh, okay. Have you seen them made?
Yes.
So, what do you think?
I mean, I think you guys are doing a great job.
We're not getting them thin enough, I think.
Yeah, they're a little thick. I mean, that's not hard.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is. It's very difficult. Right, Shane?
I think
The first thing that somebody knows what they're doing will tell you is, it's not hard.
well, one of the things we use at home when my grandma makes them is like it's kind of weird. It's like one of those old irons that are like made out of, what is it?
Oh, like a cast iron, like a tortilla press.
Yeah,
kinda.
that's what she uses to like flatten them out and make them really thin.
okay.
So I think to do it without it is pretty hard.
Oh, now, I don't know if y'all can see, but her pupusa is perfectly circular, so you're shaping it as you flatten it. But I do see cheese. Did you put more cheese in than we've been doing?
I put a little bit more cheese in there.
Okay.
Good, ours didn't have
Which
enough
could be
cheese.
good or could be bad, I don't know. I have more experience making tortillas than these, because these aren't as popular in Mexico, but we do eat them quite a bit, especially here in the U.S.
And
Do
you
you
told us
always do
love
your
them.
tortillas by hand, or do you use the little
Little
rolling
roller?
pin, the tapered rolling pin?
Both. My grandma makes them without the roller. She's too much of an expert now. She's like 85, so
Oh, she's
she
made
only
these all her life.
Yeah, she only eats her own homemade tortillas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was actually just over at her house the other day, and they moved to be close to my mom.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, she was making some.
That looks really good. So that's a very thin pupusa. And we're making these on a lightly oiled griddle. That's where your lard could come in.
Yeah.
So
What
Minute
What do
Maid
you think about
says-
working lard into the masa?
I think it's awesome. It makes it taste better.
On the lard question, Minime has come in and said, as a Salvadorian, she does not use lard.
Ever.
Oh.
Ever.
Wow.
See,
Okay.
they're not a Mexican thing. In Mexico, you use lard for everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe just for the pupusas.
Okay, so just to recap what we've, what we've been doing here is making two components of the El Salvadorian national dish. Curtido, which is a spicy fermented kraut, and pupusas, which is corn flour stuffed with kind of a pancake gordita stuffed with cheese and grilled, and then you serve it with the slaw, the curtido on top of the pupusas. Now, you've had probably pupusas stuffed with refried beans, carnitas, yeah.
My dad used to make carnitas. He had a carnita shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we used to make some of this stuff when I was little.
We're
I don't
just going with
remember all
the
of
easy
it.
stuff.
And yet Rebecca
like it.
tapped me for this video.
I was like, what? This looks like fun. So I had to come in here.
Cool, that's good. Just to let you know too, let's see, one more time that Andrea Chessman, whose recipe we're using, this is her book, The Pickled Pantry. Andrea's going to be at our fair in Topeka this very weekend. It's our home fair, so we're very excited about that. And we put our curtido in the Mortier Pilon fermentation crock that we sell in our store, and we'll be selling this weekend at the fair. It's really great. It's got a weight in there to keep your vegetables below the brine. And it's got a ring here of kind of like a chalkboard so that you can write the date on it. This should sit out on the counter 2 to 3 days, ideally, before it's ready. So if we don't, do we have any more questions? Any more
Not really.
corrections?
No, Sheila, directing at Q, says, stop telling people our secrets.
Okay, I'll just stay out of the camera.
They're also on YouTube, I have to say. But again, it looks so much easier on YouTube than it is in real life to make these. Ooh, yours looks really good. Okay, well, shall we sign off then? Thank you everybody for tuning in today, and
Gracias a todos.
yeah, hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
There you go.